I mean, and we don't have any resolutions tonight, is that correct?
I don't believe so. There's none on the agenda.
That's what I thought, yeah. Had there been resolutions that I would have been there in person to make sure that there's quorum for those resolutions.
I hope you're coming in person tomorrow.
Oh,
So-
yes, I am, for sure.
I plan to come in person tomorrow also.
For sure. I was already absent just once because I was traveling. So yes, I will be there in person.
Glad to hear it.
Thank you so much, Jim, for forwarding me all of the developments with parks and Bennett Park and all of that.
Well, well, two things. It's right outside my window, so I just look and take a picture.
Well, lucky you.
Right, but I believe there may be other problems further north because I went to my roof yesterday to see whether they opened the greenway, even though that repair was finished, and the greenway is still blocked off by the bridge there. So there may be additional repairs that they're doing further north on the greenway.
Right.
But outside of my window, it's all completed. And hopefully this time the repair will stick, because the first repair they did, the ground subsided again. And so ideally,
Anybody shares drawings?
No, I've never figured it out. We've actually played with them before. Oh wait, yeah, there's
One
a.
lever on the side, but it doesn't.
Oh, yeah.
Mine just. Let me
Well,
see.
maybe
Yeah.
that's as high as it goes, I don't know. 'Cause I need it to
It's like
come up.
weird on
Yeah,
all the
it
way.
doesn't, don't mess me up all the way.
It's that way. Yeah, do you want to try another one?
Did the holiday party already happen?
No. It's
Okay.
Thursday.
Thursday,
Sorry, I'll sit in the wall first.
Oh, it's this Thursday?
Yes,
Okay.
Where?
Guadalupe.
Okay, I'll be there. Let me put on my calendar.
What day?
Put that on the calendar.
Thursday.
Oh.
The holiday count.
Thursday.
The
Huh?
holiday party is Thursday.
I shouldn't get the,
Yeah, I don't know. Did they send out
it
something
went out, yeah, it went out.
today?
I don't, I have
Okay.
to, I probably have to look it up. So it's at Guadalupe at what time?
I think,
Six.
yeah, it starts at
6.
6.
6 o'clock, and it says.
Who decided? Guadalupe gets really crowded.
Well, no, we have a reserved space. I don't think it's,
All right.
yeah.
Hopefully, it's an accessible place,
Yeah, I hope so too.
I mean,
Huh?
it should be,
huh?
it's supposed to be.
Yeah, a
If
lot
it's
of
in a-
places it's supposed to be. Last time I went to one of those muffly things,
Really?
I couldn't get in the bathroom with this.
Oh.
It
Yeah,
wasn't
that's a
accessible anyway,
problem.
because the food was upstairs.
Oh, okay.
Right, then whatever place that was.
I don't know, where's Guadalupe?
207?
Oh,
207 and Broadway, almost
Yeah.
Broadway. But 207, yeah, and 2 stores down Broadway. So it's closer to Broadway than it is closer to Nagel or, yeah.
How many do we need for four?
8. 8 in person.
Okay.
Yeah.
A ways away.
Kathy just texted me, she's getting off the train.
Where is the meeting tomorrow? Same place? I get those two locations confused, that they're so similar and so close to each other.
Which one's Hammer and which one?
Talking about the Bagelers on Haven,
Oh, Bachelor. Oh, yeah,
yeah.
Where is it tomorrow?
It's tomorrow at Hammer. That's the one that's across
The
the
corner,
street
yeah.
from the armory.
Okay,
But the other one's closest to you, Marion. There.
which one, so where's the one that it's Columbia Presbyterian or whatever, what are they called, New York Presbyterian?
They're both Columbia, but Vagler Center on Haven and 171 is where they have, a lot of the training for the doctors and stuff.
That's that
Right.
funny looking building on Haven.
The one with all the glass.
All modern looking thing.
Yeah,
You can't not have noticed.
No, I know, I get them confused, that's why.
Yeah, well, the Vagilos is the crazy looking building and Hammer is the more ordinary looking building at 168th and Fort Wash, where the meeting is tomorrow.
Haven Plaza, right?
Say it again?
On Haven Plaza.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, wait a minute, speaking of other things, I saw to register for the executive, there's no way that we're having one on January 20th, that's a holiday.
Yeah, we're probably gonna discuss that today.
Okay, great. And the
Okay.
holiday, it's my birthday.
Oh, so
Right.
it's a double holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like the calendar we have in the room says exec is on the 21st of
Okay.
January.
The registration links still has it at January 20th, that's why.
I'll make a note of that.
Is it slated to rain tomorrow as well?
Yeah, it looks like the whole
only in the
week.
morning.
Only in the morning.
It's like Wednesday, it's supposed to rain too.
Then Wednesday again, right?
Hopefully not Thursday. The day I'm flying out.
Oh, so you're not going to the holiday party?
No.
Oh.
I will be late to the holiday party, so I won't be able to, because it's allegedly gonna be a dinner that starts at 6, but I ain't gonna be there till 7:30 or 8. I have another party to go to, the horror.
About
Your dance card
Oh,
is,
Jim, look at you, your problems.
I'm
Yeah,
so overscheduled this week, it's ridiculous. I had to cancel a meeting today because I just couldn't get there. It's in between a doctor's appointment and this meeting. And I said, you know what? I can't get there.
Sorry.
I don't know why I can't do it all.
need a clone. A clone.
It's just Luana and Jim. Zoom.
Minus 6:40.
It's not always this
Yeah.
bad, but just this week is.
I don't know if you heard the big news. One of the reasons there've been all these drone sightings recently is they only got permission to fly at night last month. Before then, they weren't allowed to fly at night, so you certainly wouldn't have seen any. They're making this whole fuss about these drones. So apparently, now they're allowed to fly at night, so they fly at night. So,
Taking advantage.
well, no, they're allowed to do it, and they didn't used to be, and it may be, most of the little ones have cameras and you can look at the world from above. And I love flying, at night when you land in a city, it's so beautiful. So you get a mini view of that with the drone. You can see all the houses lit up. And now near Christmas, you might even see some decorations. But, you know, people always have to make a fuss, in my view.
Oh, I dropped the keys.
I think Ebenezer's in there, so. Maybe it's just- Oh, there he is.
Hello, I'm here.
Let us start. Hey, Jen.
Hi.
Marion does fine, so you still need 3 for calendar.
We don't have any items, so we're like a discussion.
What is this?
I don't know, I just saw that.
Oh, so
But that requires exec session because it's personnel, and I would want to understand what it is. Um. Sorry, I'm a little flustered, I just got here, Eli is on. All right, we got meeting tomorrow, so I'm hoping today's short and quick. I hope folks got a chance to look at the agenda. Was there anything, I made it lighter this month just because we have a lot going on right now. I'm sorry?
I wish we had food.
I do too. I
I'm
had
gonna have
set
to
a
leave, 'cause
text,
I can't
so,
be, I can't be sick with migraine again. I've got too
Yeah.
many things going on.
yeah.
Last time I was-
All the more reason to make this a very quick meeting. Are we, okay.
There will be food to me.
I'm sorry about that. I'll make sure next time we have it. All right, so we got, oh, Hector, welcome Hector, we got Marielle, Ebenezer, Luana.
I mean, one way or the other, at least we have to make, we should make a decision, one way or the other, if we're going to or we're not going to this. You know, it has to be something that's consistent,
Yeah. Oh, I see.
so I planned.
Oh, I just promoted you as.
I raced over here because
Yeah,
I wanted to be on time.
Okay. I realized I did not put the report. I guess I'll do it in committee chair report and we'll just move through. So for folks on Zoom, we're just gonna get started with January and February schedules, and I'm sorry, I can't screen, I don't have it on the computer to screen share. Let me see if I can pull it up. But as of now, we don't have, the only flag or changes I should, okay, I don't know why this is like that. All right, land use is in here, public safety, Ali is here. Ali, if you can hear us, okay, your meeting falls on January 1st. So we'd obviously have to move it. The following Wednesday is available, but just keep in mind it's at the same time as licensing. Actually, maybe that can guarantee 33rd and 34th precincts, having at both.
Can it? It'll be split between the two.
Or like start here, then go back. you know?
Yeah,
Ellie, if you hear us, is meeting on January 8th okay for you, or do you want
Yeah,
not
that's
to?
perfect. Perfect, yeah.
I don't think you have members that fall into public safety. I mean, into licensing. And then Wayne is in here, so Ebenezer, please follow up with Wayne. On. What date he would like to meet. And then just for us, exec is usually the Monday, but because of Martin Luther King Day, we'll be on the 21st, which is still 1 week ahead of general meeting on the 28th. The one thing, and he's not here to talk about it, is that youth and education as a committee, talked about moving their meeting day from Monday, I believe, to potentially the Thursday. that second Thursday, because Monday they've seen like. I think it's kind of just like a lot of the presenters are just, it conflicts often is the feedback I've gotten, and I think it doesn't work for the majority of the committee. Or I think kind of like in the terms of attendance from public folks, Mondays aren't the best bet. So we have to fine tune that, but that would be a bigger change, I think, so far, yeah.
Well, yeah, I was gonna ask a question too, because I forget if it's the second Thursday or the third Thursday, or maybe both. There's no meetings.
The second Thursday.
Well, and the third Thursday, at least for January, it's just the district service cabinet meeting. There's nothing at night. And there are some nights that are doubled up. I don't know if we could move, or maybe staff likes a night off. I don't know.
They would like that.
Yeah, okay.
I think also the issue with the third is sometimes it might fall, actually, I think January is an exception, but like February, it falls very close to the general meeting.
Oh, right.
So
sure.
depending, I think for both the office and depending on the committee, it might be too tight.
Mhm.
January, I mean, this is the bulk of the holidays that we do have. I know that, and it would be nice to add it to the meeting, the Tiger team, Crystal, Noemi Diaz and Domingo were working on the library visits to the Washington Heights Library, the Inwood, just those two for now. And they talked about kind of doing it at a level where it's like, let's say if the library allows us to do a visit for 30, that we open that up for members and the public up until we have capacity. Okay. So I assembled a mini team of Crystal, Domingo, and Noemi Diaz to visit the Inwood Library, to coordinate the visit for the Inwood Library and the Washington Heights Library that a lot of people haven't been to. So that's gonna be open to the public, and it would be nice to get that on our calendar on the website also. So I'm gonna wait for a date from them so we can add it here and all the members and people know in general. I think it's gonna be first to the Washington Heights Library. I would like that added.
That's the one on 163rd-ish. Yeah.
The renovation was a few years ago, but a lot of people have never been or seen it, so I think it would be nice.
I've never been there.
Here we
Me
go.
neither.
Probably about,
I haven't either, so there we go.
When I was able to go, I went to 179 for the first time. Couldn't go anymore because it
You
wasn't
got
accessible
steps
and
right
that
away,
closed.
yeah.
Okay. And then February, the only change or edit here similarly is that the exec would be on a Tuesday. So for January and for February, exec is on a Tuesday. And then youth and education, of course. And I want to say that's it. These are pretty straightforward things.
Hi, Catherine, excuse me, what is the new day for youth and education?
They emailed Paola asking to move the date to a Thursday, but I don't think that's final. Not the first Thursday, the second Thursday. So that's something that we should lock in by tomorrow. If Domingo's there, we can lock that in. Mario?
Hey, thanks, Kathy. Good evening, everyone. I don't think I received the agenda for this evening. I'll take a look. Maybe I missed it in the email. And then the other thing, I just wanted to check because we're meant to have a presenter. We're meant to have HRA join us in January, but their question was around, well, is it actually then like January 2nd? I was like, well, yeah, it's still a working day. It's still the first Thursday of the month. So I just wanted to double check that that's still the case.
I mean, it's up to you. Like, if you want to leave it on the second, you can, or if you want to move it to the 9th or any other date, that's up to you and the committee.
Yeah. Okay. Can I just ask the committee? I mean, I'm fine with that. I think it was just a personal thing from HRA, but honestly, they need to present to us anyway. So if I can circle back with you and the office, before the end of this week, if that's okay, to confirm whether we'll stay on the 2nd or move it to the 9th.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
Ebenezer?
Okay, I need information by the end of the week. The calendar has to go out with the correct information to the public.
Can do.
All right, let's move away from calendars. I know we put secretary's report, but it's,
I think we get to skip this month.
Yeah. We're gonna skip this month and reconvene those conversations next month. All right,
But then possibly a new secretary, likely a new.
yeah, oh my gosh, yes. All right, so, this is also kind of like the split. I would prefer to have it a little similar to our general meeting, but just so it's easier for us to confirm the general meeting agenda, which is by starting to talk about, who got results before us. So I know, licensing obviously does. We have the all-night permits, for New Year's Eve. You see those not here right now. Anything notable, maybe?
Yeah, so more than half the agenda was all-night permits. As the Cedro discussed last month, the way we handle those is we just ask the precincts if they have an objection to the establishment staying open all night for New Year's Eve. And the committee bases the decision largely on that. So I think there was a total of about 24, 25 resolutions, 16-ish of which were all night and 8 were like renewals and new licenses. I can give you a better answer. I'll pull up.
No, it's fine. I remember, I think the agenda might have been
It was
posted.
roughly that number.
Okay, does anybody else have, resolutions before the board tomorrow?
We're
I
doing
don't know.
the elections like are upfront or are they after?
I have to finalize that, but that was two things that the general meeting. Sorry, the draft agenda Paula sent had placeholders for 2 resos. And I didn't know what they were, and I don't know if we have any. So in that case, it might be better to do the resos first so that any business, like people from the public who might be there, we do that and then do elections, but I'm flexible there too. Wow, nobody got resos this December?
Unusual.
Merry Christmas.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
really.
Am I? Okay, live. There we go. Hold on. Steve Simon, he cannot make it tonight. But they have a resolution on the reduction of the rehab unit that he will send in later. Okay. Okay.
How much later? It's the
Mhm.
day
The
before.
before.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just thinking because we have a really good full public session last time because of the item. I don't know if to expect the same this for tomorrow, so we'll have to take that into consideration.
But it's not on the agenda.
I
They
don't
never
think so,
come.
because I ran into somebody yesterday, but I think they're just sort of laying low for the moment, because the hospital's talking about reduction of beds, but not eliminating
Yeah.
beds. So they're sort of waiting, hoping
Okay.
for the best or better.
Also curious if we need a resume.
So I don't think we'll have all those people there.
Yeah, I don't see anything online yet.
When did he send that to you?
Oh, just now. Like 10 minutes ago. All right, so far we got licensing, maybe a health reso and land use. Let me just double check those. Okay, don't see any emails on that. Thank you. All right, let's turn over to committee chair updates. So we can start with Mary and then maybe we can go to Zoom.
Good. We had our last meeting last week at the Star Senior Center. And we had, I counted 43 attendees,
Wow.
okay?
Did y'all catch
Plus
that?
committee. So,
Is
you know, that's the reason to go to the centers. We go to them, they're happy we're there, they get involved. And we have a discussion, of course, which is gonna involve them as well. The minutes will be forthcoming and pretty self-explanatory, but basically it's kind of an offshoot of the Alzheimer's research. They have a new initiative called the BOLD initiative.
Bold.
I don't have, yeah, BOLD, BOLD, and I don't have the papers with me. So I can't elaborate on it right now without my notes, because I don't remember it all, but anyway. For January, I've been trying to reach out, and maybe Catherine, you can help me out. I was hoping Leo would be about this done, and because I'm trying to get Quetzy Morales from the Academy of Bus Company to do a presentation. You know, they did a presentation at the Traffic and Transportation Committee, a brief presentation, because they wanted a reso to have signage put up on the bus stops where they stop. I'm trying to get them to come to the Asian Committee, and I sent, you know, an email, but I also gave a list of the things that we're interested that the Asian Committee to learn about. You know, we want to know where they stop, when they stop. You know, what you need to get on the bus for the seniors and disabled. In terms of, you know, your Metro card or your, you know, AARP card or whatever kind of thing, and where they go. You know, what their route is. And I said, you know, wanted a map. So maybe I overwhelmed them with too many details of what we wanted to have, you know, explained, but I wanted them to be prepared. And I have not heard back from them. I sent a follow-up email to them. And I haven't gotten a response yet. And that's concerning because, you know, the meeting is around the corner and the holidays are in between.
Wow. You said you reached out directly to the Academy bus.
To
Okay.
the same person that did the presentation at the Traffic and Transportation Committee.
Let me see if we can reach out to Diego, to Colombia. I mean, like to go through Colombia, because it is technically their line.
The other thing is I ran into, you know, I keep running into people, you know, networking is good, you know, I stop in the deli and I network, you know. So I'm in the deli and here's somebody that works directly with Sandra Harris, and she hadn't heard about the Academy bus being accessible for seniors and disabled either.
Oh.
So I sent my email to them so that hopefully Sandra, you know, got involved in like all this too. So I don't know.
Okay.
You know, so we talked, I chatted with Alejandra for a while in the deli, and you know,
Right.
I don't know that we had these concerns, and she said, well, I never heard about that. And she said, I wonder if Sandra knows. So I haven't heard anything back from them either yet, but
Do you,
you know, I told her we could get everybody invited. We had this presentation, but time is moving.
okay, so we can reach out to them, but do you still want to hold that presentation January 2nd?
No, 6.
The committee
Oh,
is up
sorry.
for it.
Yes.
Us, you know, including the senior center directors. Everybody's working that day, so.
Are you hosting the meeting at a senior center again on January 2nd?
I didn't plan on that because you had said you wanted to, you know, we wanted to invite the stakeholders.
Yeah.
From here and there, you know, everywhere.
Okay, let's see if we can get in touch tomorrow in the day, and then maybe by the time of the general meeting, if we hear back or not, then we could plan for January, or we could do it in February. So that way we have.
I hate to put it off because I don't have anybody else for January presentation.
Do we know when the signage is gonna get implemented? That's probably a ways away, right?
Yeah.
Because they still have to design the signage and actually post it at the stops. So I imagine it's gonna be months before those go up anyway. Because my position is I don't
Probably,
want,
but they're already stopping.
no, I get
Never mind
that.
signs, so, you know, they're already stopping and apparently they've been doing this. Nobody ever heard of it.
Which is in the resolution though, right? There is a whereas that says they offer services to
Yes.
elderly and disabled. So as long as,
Yeah.
you know, we have that showing that that was part of our consideration. Because if they then renege on that, technically you can pull back the resolution. I'm just pointing
That
that out.
seems pretty simple.
Yeah, so what is the Medicare card?
Your Metro, your senior.
Metro card.
Or your Omni. And your Accessory card.
Yeah.
Sorry, we were on the website. I'm trying to find like which more information about it.
Uh-huh.
But all right, so what I'll commit to do is I'll call Diego or Sandra tomorrow in the day. And see what they say we could do January 2nd. If we can't, then I'll let you know by
Postpone
the,
meeting perhaps.
yeah.
Well.
You can do
put everything
that.
On the 9th, but I mean, you know,
I mean, no committee's required to meet every month, so if you don't have,
I thought we were. Well,
oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
And-
committees technically should meet every month.
They should,
And once it's all settled, could we get like signage from the community board and them, the bus place to give to senior centers, so they know?
say that again.
Give signage to senior centers nearby these routes.
Well, that's what we want them all, most of them come to the meeting anyway, the directors.
Okay.
I work very closely with the senior center directors,
Mhm.
not only with the Asian committee, but I'm on the co-chair of Wacoa also, so if I don't see them in
Oh,
one place, I
okay.
see them the other, you know, so.
Mary, can I just ask you, have you had any attendance issues in the last month? Have you had any attendance issues in the last month?
I don't think so, because, but see, I'm waiting for, Yosef to do, there was an issue at Star that I could not see the screen, because it was like behind to the side.
Okay,
So
so
usually I'm jotting down and seeing on the screen
who shows up?
who's there on Zoom.
Okay.
And, I couldn't,
Okay,
so I'm waiting for Yosef to send me the minutes so that I can.
Okay.
Cause he was sitting down with Ebenezer.
okay, thank
So he
you.
had direct view, he knew, I believe everything was, I think everybody was on.
Okay,
sorry, I saw Jim
Yeah,
has a
It
hand
was
up.
supposed to be except for Liz was excused, but.
Thank you. I want to comment on this, Columbia bus issue. As Anthony mentioned, even when we pass the resolution, knowing how DOT works, because they put up the signs, probably, they're not gonna go for a while, but we, the fact that they have this program is on their website, so and I cannot imagine that they're gonna renege because, they don't really want any bad publicity at this point. So, we could publish a list of all of these bus stops where these buses do stop. And, as a service to the community, and I don't think Columbia would object. In fact, they might even cooperate with us because, in my view anyway, and I've dealt with them for a while, they're not a stupid institution. And if they can, get good public relations for doing good, which they're actually doing in this case, they'll be more than happy to cooperate. The issue with the bus company, you see that if you look at the buses, you would think they're, it's all Columbia. And the driver may even have a Columbia kind of uniform. But they've contracted out the operation of this bus thing. So I think as Catherine pointed out, well, I would suggest two things to Catherine, that she reaches out directly to this individual who seemed, very charming and willing to help and attend meetings and stuff. And, remind him. And then the other thing, like, as you said, reach out to Columbia. You could even reach out, I don't have the number, but we can find it, to the Columbia Transportation Office, which runs this thing. And, but I think ultimately, and then the other piece of it, I suppose, because again, this is Columbia doing it, even though it's run by Academy Bus Services. a representative of Columbia or Columbia, the Transportation Department of Columbia, you know, they could probably provide the committee with all the appropriate information too. So maybe they want to send one of their people instead. Don't know, but you know, I have a feeling that, you know, we should. So two things, you know, to reiterate, we can publish this information anyway, and you know, seniors and disabled people will be able to use it. And in fact, the details of the bus stops and the schedule, they're all on the Columbia website. We can republish that, or I mean, the schedule is actually rather complicated to look at, but so that's what I'm suggesting. And then I just gave you a few more people to reach out to. Hope that was helpful.
Okay, thank you. All right, let's move on to Zoom. There, I'll just. Luana, I think was your first. Who was your first? Let's go by order of arrival, maybe.
They brought them in at the same time.
Oh,
Yeah.
never mind. Waiting for hoes.
Who, me?
No, sorry.
Who goes next?
Yeah, go ahead. I see you. Go ahead and start.
Okay, so good evening, everybody. Parks was the usual programming, especially with the holidays, but there was a couple of concerns were brought up during our meeting. One of them is the maintenance of the Bennett Park turf, although it has been finished and it's up and going and people are actively using it. There is still the concern about dogs relieving themselves on the turf, and also the maintenance of that. Parks was able to provide some information on it. And this is why we always speak about the 1% for parks, because when parks are well staffed, then that means that these issues can be taken care of. But it's sort of like, we'll see what happens. We'll see how it plays out. But Parks was there to inform on this, on the regularity of the cleaning of that area. That's number one. The second concern was that the New York Rowing Club came to us to inform on some, actually, no, there are three issues. On some signage, boat speeding problems on the rivers. So my recommendation to that organization was to also present at both the safety committee, but also transportation, because there isn't parks, these safety issues do not necessarily fall under the purview of parks. But if there is a parks concession on either side of the river, then that means that parks can become somewhat involved. But like, for example, issues about signage, that would be transportation, for example. So Eli, you might be, I think they already went to your meeting, but you'll have a visit. In the event that there's a resolution to call for monitoring or the installation of signage, if that falls under the purview of parks, then safety, transportation, and parks can write a joint resolution. And that is also a segue for the closing of one of the subway stations that are in Fort Tryon Park. I believe is it the 181st or the 191st? I forget, but there is a closing of a subway station. And although the station is in Fort Tryon Park, it doesn't mean that Parks has oversight over that particular matter. So nonetheless, we did hear the concern that came from a member of the community and from a member of our committee, Barbara. So right now, what we're trying, and Chris Hyman was there to provide information of how much oversight does Parks have over the closing of the station, because it is to make it more accessible. There was some clarification of it, but I guess information is forthcoming. That's all I can say. Jim, you have a question for me?
Finally, too many buttons to push. I believe they came to, the MTA came to the Traffic and Transportation Committee. And it's my understanding and my recollection from that meeting that they in fact are not going to make the station accessible at all. They are doing, they are doing other kinds. This is the station that is right at Margaret Corbin Circle.
Now,
And,
191st, to
It's
clarify.
it's called 190th Street, I think.
Oh, yeah, 190th, yeah.
Right, and so they're planning to do other necessary work, but again, it's my understanding, and if you've ever been to that station, you'll understand where my understanding comes from, that they absolutely do not intend to make that station accessible at all, because at the moment you can't get into either. The station is one of these stations with an elevator, and you can't get into the bottom at the moment because it's got stairs and lots of stairs, and then there's a ramp, and you can't get into the top because again there's a flight of stairs. So it may be that, and again, I believe my recollection is quite accurate. They're doing other stuff, but it's not going to be made accessible. So that's something. And the other piece of it, and I'm glad you brought this up, because originally I said, the reality is these subway stations, wherever they are, they're part of the MTA, which is part of, I'm not going to say it's mine, because I'm on TNT, but that's one of the things the TNT does. And then as you continue to talk, I remember they actually came to us. So we have to get the facts straight. But again, there's some infrastructure they're going to fix. But
Got it.
yeah, I don't believe. And again, if you just look at the station, it turns out making 181st Street on the A train accessible, at Overlook Terrace, that even took some great ingenuity. I mean, it was already accessible from the street because the street entrance on 184th Street in Fort Washington is at grade level. And then, of course, they had to install the 2 elevators to go to the platform. And that was also much more work because anything that you're not walking on is granite. So they had to do major stuff just to, get these things in there. But they got them in there. And since I'm not as young as I was, I really appreciate their presence. I mainly use them to go up. But so that's what I know about the situation. But and probably if you reach out to Leo, he can probably, I don't believe he's here tonight. He can probably provide you with a slightly, additional information about what exactly they're doing.
The one I had a question for you, 2 questions. The signage are where on the waterfront?
East River.
That's
Up here, it's called the Harlem River, unless you're talking about someplace else.
Yeah, Harlem River.
Right.
But do you know along where?
I would have to check minutes and see the video again, but yeah.
Okay, and then
I mean, intuitively, it should be by that cove, by the Sherman,
yeah,
whatever that's called.
okay.
Intuitively, but the thing is, I don't want to misspeak.
Do they know if it's not Parks, and I'm guessing because Parks was there, what agency would be responsible?
Transportation.
Oh,
It's transportation, yeah.
got it. Okay. Is that homework that the org is doing, that we should be doing, that Parks is doing?
No, I think the organization just wanted to make it a matter of public record to bring these concerns. So they did a presentation, but the organization is extremely active in seeking answers and mobilizing.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else for Luana?
No, those three items.
Okay, cool.
Those 3 pressing items, rather.
I saw
Yeah,
Marielle before, Ali, since you unmuted.
yeah, obviously I'm gonna refer y'all to the minutes, but during our monthly committee meeting, we had a tip of the iceberg sort of conversation in reference to an item that I felt hasn't really been discussed yet, but we're gonna start a serious conversations around the impact that artificial intelligence is gonna have in underserved communities like ours from the police standpoint. How policing is gonna be implemented now in these kind of neighborhoods. There's new recognition technology, the plates reading, a plethora of different stuff that they've been implemented already under the radar. But which the communities still don't know of. So the CEO from the 33rd, Captain Hernandez, was grateful enough to discuss of a few of them, whatever he was able to touch upon. But there's still a lot more going than what we know. Sort of like what James was talking about, the drone situation in Jersey and New York. There's so much more going. And we would like to be in the forefront, at least informational wise, as to how this is going to be the new policing. How does it look like? Are there going to be robots out in our streets sooner than later? That kind of stuff. So that's our plan for the 2025 calendar year, is to have those conversations. Policing as we know it is it's going to be an old art form. So we try to kind of like get ahead of the times and at least know as much as we can. So that's pretty much what we have on hand. Thank you.
Any questions for Ellie? Okay, hearing none, we'll go to Marielle, if you're ready. Or we'll go jump to Wayne.
I'm ready. Again, good evening, everyone. Hope you're all well. So last month, oh my goodness, earlier this month, Housing and Human Services, I think we had a really good meeting. We had some really great presentations. One presentation that I would strongly encourage everyone to attend, or at least watch the recording, excuse me. It was from the New York City Independent Budget Office. I know one of the conversations we always talk about, well, affordability and housing, and why are certain housing units, priced a certain way, and some are a little actually affordable and some are not affordable. We're always having those conversations, and you all know there's like 4 different housing lotteries open at the moment on Housing Connect. So they produced a study on inclusionary housing and city subsidies, and really talking about the different types of, tax incentives that have existed over the years from the Bloomberg administration to the current administration, and really looking at it in terms of, what really makes affordable housing. And I thought it was really well done. I strongly encourage everyone to watch the recording, at least read the report. I did send that out a while ago. The other thing is we had a really great presentation from Community Access on mental health services. So this organization, and a big thank you to Tanisha for connecting us with them. They do a lot of work around community health and mental services. So it's when someone is experiencing a mental health crisis, oftentimes, they may call 911, and we recognize that that's not really the most suitable way to respond to those situations. And so they've been working on this program where it's bringing in social service providers and people with lived experiences and things of that nature. And so they've been calling and really kind of rethinking about how we respond to these mental health emergencies. Ultimately, the committee, we decided we would like to put forward a resolution to support some of this work. And so I don't know if Steve's on, but they were meant to present to Steve's committee. I think they may do that now in January. And Eliasar, I think it would be really good for them to also present to your committee on public safety. So I'll be sure to connect you with Jordan so that you have her information and can see that forward. But ultimately, I do think this could be an opportunity for the 3 committees, honestly, to do like a joint resolution supporting some of this work. Again, I'll follow up with more information offline on that. And then we also had helpful updates from Carmen de la Rosa's office as usual on some of the work that she was doing, including kind of the passing of City of Yes on the actual December 5th. So that was really good. And we did a little bit of a forward planning in terms of what we would like to see for 2025. And one of the main things that came out of that discussion was early engagement around Rent Guidelines Board. So do stay tuned. I think we're going to try to organize some kind of organizing call at some point in early January. And so Kathy, I may loop you into that as well so that you can get involved early rather than, once the preliminary rates are out. The other thing then to also update you all on is the committee talked a lot about hosting some type of Know Your Rights event, particularly for our migrant families and our migrant neighbors. And so that is in the works. There's going to be a planning call that I'm organizing with Espaillat's office as well as Carmen de la Rosa's office. So more on that to come. And once those details are kind of finalized, I'll be sure to share them with the office. Thanks.
Thank you, Mariel. That was a lot. One, I would say just so you're aware, the Airtable has a presentation from the Independent Budget Office. Similarly, so if you have presenters who send you decks, I don't think we can do links, but they do send you like slides and any documents. Please make sure that after your meeting, you follow up with the office. It could just be to the general inbox and say, hey, can you please add that to the Airtable on the website? So that way all the meeting materials are accessible.
Great, thank you. Sorry, can I add one more thing, Kathy? I forgot to add.
Go for it.
On the New York City Independent Budget Office, one thing that, and I think you were copied on this, we are trying to see if they could actually do a kind of a New York City budget process 101. And I think that would be really helpful for the entire board. So we'll follow up to see how we can arrange something like that, but they offer those types of presentations. I think particularly helpful, obviously, when we do our capital and expense requests as well. So some kind of, helpful learning and development for all of us. Thanks.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think I'm trying to look at Civic Engagement Commission. They do, I think it's actually pre-recorded. They do the basics of the budget, but I think to your point, the Independent Budget Office is independent, so they will give us their analysis based on the data that they have and what's actually being funded, what's not, where they think the money's gonna go in the city. So it's I don't think it's necessarily one to replace the other, but I think kind of like the basics, I can double check, but I feel like CEC has it on their website.
And they also accept research requests as well from community boards, which I thought was really neat. So I think, for all of you as chairs, if there's kind of some information that you're trying to find out, maybe about, kind of the history of how particular projects were funded or whatever the case may be, they do that. And I thought that was a really neat resource as well for people to be aware of.
Okay, I'm seeing a whole host of trains that I never get alerts for. Sorry about that. But they do a budget one, the Civic Engagement Commission. I don't see it pre-recorded, but they happened in November. So it is. All right. Over to Wayne. And where in the world are you, Wayne?
I am in Punta Cana, believe it or not. So at the December land use meeting, we actually met the day before the city council was scheduled to vote on City of Yes for Housing Opportunity. And we had an update from the Department of City Planning on the changes that were voted on by the committees of the city council prior to that. You may recall that in June, I believe, the community board passed a resolution, conditionally supporting the City of Yes for Housing Opportunity, but raising reservation on, I think it was 3 things. One dealt with where these new high-density districts could be mapped. The second thing was the elimination of the parking mandate and how that might impact pricing on existing, parking. And third was the loosening of restrictions that would allow for new buildings to be constructed with primarily smaller units. And the changes made by the committees of the city council in large part addressed those concerns. The one area where there was a lot of inconsistent information at the update that we were given dealt with the the new high density zoning districts. And Carmen De La Rosa was attended the meeting, and she stayed for the entire length of the meeting, and it was a longer than usual land use committee meeting, but she said she was assured by, the city planning folks and the land use council at city council that the Inwood rezoning would not be overridden by anything that is in the city of Yes for Housing Opportunity. And that's important because one of the responses we received from city planning was wherever MIH is mapped, you would be able to then map the two new districts. And there are areas in Washington Heights and Inwood that have MIH, but that is not the case. The Inwood rezoning or neighborhood rezoning does not get overridden, by that. And so, as you all know, the following day, the City of Yes for Housing Opportunity was passed with modifications. We also had a presentation by the Northern Manhattan Community Land Trust, and that interestingly is also an outgrowth of the Inwood rezoning, and that was neighborhood residents, including, former community board member Cheryl Pam, who are looking at ways of having sort of a community-driven approach to affordable housing that keeps it affordable for the long run. And that is a very interesting undertaking, and I recommended that they reach out to the Housing and Human Services committee to talk about what they are doing, because they're in the sort of the infant stages of, figuring out who they are and what they want to be. But one of the things they are doing right now is working with tenants in a couple of buildings to organize them to address deplorable living conditions. And I know that Housing and Human Services would be very interested in that. And I also shared with them that, CB12, has in the past worked with residents on Academy Street and others. So this is something that we definitely would be interested in continuing to hear from them, what they're doing and how we can help. Is that a hand for me, Eleazar? I guess not.
Thought I saw it go up when you were talking. Sorry, my brain's.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, that I wanna file a formal complaint on Wayne's bullying of putting Punta Cana as his background. Well, we are here at 25 degrees, so I hope I get a second on that.
I know, but I'm not drinking the premium alcohol, just the basic. Let me just add one thing. At the December meeting, we were supposed to have an update from city planning on the Inwood rezoning points of agreement. We haven't had an update in some time. They asked to postpone that because it's not just city planning that would be providing the update. It'll be city planning and EDC and HPD. So that is now scheduled for the January Land Use Committee meeting.
Okay, sorry, you said DCP and EDC are gonna be?
Well, I mean, I don't know everyone who's going to be there. They are coordinating with EDC. HPD might also be there. If you go back to the points of agreement, there are multiple city agencies that have agreed to do things. And so when we've had presentations in the past, there have been, sort of a task force of, city agencies there.
Well, very timely because I'm like, one, that's a very big presentation that I think we should blast out, but also your meeting, if you didn't get an email alert yet, falls on New Year's Day, so we have to move that.
I did that last month.
Oh, you did? Okay. Do you know what you said the week after?
Yeah, we moved it to the 8th.
Okay, so then I have an issue then because public safety can't be the 8th. If you said before, if you wrote to the office last month that you were moving it to the 8th, then Eliezer, can we
Yeah.
do the 7th or the 9th?
Actually, at last month's executive committee meeting, when we were going over the calendar, it was pointed out that New Year's Day is our committee, and I said, we'll move it to the next week.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. I would have thought that got rated. All right, so then I guess Elias, we'll check back in the recording to see if public safety, we said either Tuesday or maybe Thursday. Do that. Yeah, but I think that's great to be able, I feel like having, the independent budget office, the EDC one, just to know your rights talk, like, I feel like these are some really, substantive presentations from agencies that we don't really work with, so I'll commend all of y'all, for being able to bring that back to the board or bringing it for the first time. I would say, yes, I think, yeah, with these presentations, if, once you can like, I guess if, do you know by when you're gonna have a hard confirmation that the EDC and these folks will be there, or we already know for sure?
I will check with city planning and have them confirm which agencies will be attending.
Okay, because that way, the newsletter for the week before, which I guess New Year's, what is that, the 29th? 30th? No, 30th, 29th? How many days are there in January, December? 31? 31, okay, 30th. Sorry, so the one that goes up the 30th and I don't know, maybe the 23rd, we can tease it. Because I think, yeah, that's a really important one. Who else is here? I see Carmen and Hector and Tanisha. Carmen, you've been on a while. Anything you want to report back from cannabis? I know, and Dara also flagged tomorrow. For tomorrow's agenda, we got to play with where in the agenda, how the election process is gonna lay out. So we should talk. I gotta just see how many resos we have. Because if it's just licensing, we were talking about just doing licensing first and then, and do elections.
Happy to stay after and talk a little bit, or I'm happy to come over because I just got home when I logged on. So I can
Stay in your
walk
house.
over. Whatever's easiest. But yeah, I'll just report very briefly on cannabis, and we'll refer everyone to the recording, which I think all of you should watch. Very eventful and informative. But this past month, a couple of weeks ago, we reviewed the application for Excite Unlimited LLC, which is supposed to be a new dispensary that's opening up on it was formerly on 193rd around St. Nicholas Avenue, and now they have switched the address and location for it to be near Locksmith. So it's like next to the cigar lounge on 190th and Broadway. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't have the exact address right before me, but it's in that area. We weren't able to actually vote on the application. There was some miscommunication and confusion. The managing member didn't appear in person, but on top of that, the application we felt wasn't detailed enough and didn't give us enough information for us to feel confident in voting on it. So we used the time essentially to kind of give feedback on the application, and we'll be reviewing it again in January, the first Monday. So encourage, if you weren't able to attend last month's or earlier this month's meeting, encouraging you all to please attend the January one. We would love to see you there.
I wanted to just put in the chat because I know that Paula spoke with him. There's still like some glitches with the website that have to get resolved. But the information with the links wasn't live on the site, so that was corrected.
Okay.
I'm just gonna throw in the chat so folks.
And then also, I'm not sure, we had asked Noemi to see if she can send the updated notice so that the notice could be posted, because there wasn't sufficient time either before the last meeting for when he posted the notice. And I don't know that we ever got a response to that, so I'll just circle back with the office. I don't think Nobles has responded to that email, but I'll just follow up to see if
Yeah, that Paola, that's also a bit of a miscommunication. Internally, Paola handles cannabis and Noemi does SLA and like taxi and the other licensing group work that we do. So she did touch base with the applicant. So what I'll tell her to do is just circle back with the committee, letting them know like, hey, we did get them all of this stuff, so they have the materials on time. So that we don't run into that issue of like public notice wasn't posted or anything like
Right.
that.
Yeah, for sure. And we would love to finally review this in January. We understand that he's been trying to do this since November. So we definitely want to make sure that we get a chance to review it in the next couple of weeks. Well, thank you.
Tanisha, you want to say anything around education, Ethan?
Yeah, I got a few things. So, we discussed changing the day of the meeting from Monday until the second Thursday of every month. And we know we have to give 30 days, calendar days require 30 days for executive committee approval. So we want to bring it to you today that we are proposing to change our meetings from the second Monday to the second Thursday of the month.
Does that mean we vote on it next
I
month?
didn't know that. Sorry, I was like, oh wait, I didn't know we had to vote on it.
Makes sense. If it's like a cadence thing, then yeah, I get it.
Right. Does that require?
That would.
Well, we wouldn't vote on it here. She said we need 30 days notice.
Oh.
So it'd
I
be
didn't-
next month. right?
Damn, yeah.
I'm not sure where that comes from.
So I was like, wait, where's our bylaws? I didn't know that.
I don't believe that doesn't ring a bell from the bylaws committee or my earlier knowledge of the bylaws. And, I mean, we could vote on it. And the other thing is, you know, the chair could just decide, yes, this is the new day, you know,
But on
because I don't think there's, you know, any such requirement.
Yeah, Jim, I don't remember anything from the bylaws about that.
Right, the whole thing is just sort of very informal and obviously, you know, no one, either the executive committee or the chair would decree a committee meeting on a day the committee wouldn't want. I mean, that's just idiotic. So that's why I think it's never been formalized. But, you know, I would think if that's what the committee wants to do and you know, obviously someone has to be in charge, like our chairperson. If that's what the committee wants to do and there's no rational reason that any of us, including Catherine, has not to do it, you know, it should just be done. But if you
Yeah,
want-
there's nothing about the 30 days. Only thing,
right.
clarification, like when we have meetings, we have to post things at least a week.
Right, but
But we post the calendar usually 30 days.
yeah, the advantage in my point of view is we've sort of acknowledged this is what we want to do, so they can start it next month.
Yeah, so the only thing I said, Tanisha, I did tell Paola that, and I know that because Domingo emailed Paola. So I just want to make triple check, like in terms of staff coverage, that Thursday is not an issue because we don't have a meeting. It didn't seem like it, but I don't have a final yes. So tomorrow, when we see all three of them, let me get clarity on that. But if not, then that's fine. Yeah.
And the where it is now, is that the only meeting on the second Monday? So now that night would be free for staff,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay,
it'd be-
thank you.
And I think actually one thing that I remember, because in talking with Paola, what we talked about was like, oh, that's actually neater, that the first 2 weeks is like full committee meetings. And then you just have your like exec in general in the last 2 of the month, because it tends to be with the holidays and like depending what date something falls, that we run into the first, the second, and the third. So it just keeps it a little neater.
Thank you.
you're
So
welcome.
also we had we had a presentation from the Morningside program, which was good because I've never heard of them. Apparently they do training with teachers on social and emotional learning, I'm thinking, and they want to expand to District 6. So they was coming to see if we would write a letter in support. So we'll revisit that in January. But they did come see us, did come present. So that was great. We also decided what we want to do going forward. So we pretty much have what we want to do for the rest of the months down. And so we'll send you the meeting minutes and y'all can look at those. Thank you.
Thanks, Nisha.
If I could just mention one thing, which probably Tanisha's not familiar with, committees cannot issue letters of support independently. Everything has to be done by a resolution of the board. So if that's what your committee wants done, then you'll produce a resolution that we want this letter written, and then it will be written. Because again, it's only it's sort of like a committee of Congress can't do things, you know, it's the Congress that has to do things. Thank you.
Got it, Jim.
I think.
All right. I guess my committee updates. And then we have 2 items for new business, so I don't want it to be like we rush out. All right, so thanks to the folks who have sent me resos that they want followed up on. If you haven't sent me that, please do. I will circle back at that on the next exec. But again, these are the resos that you're like, what's ever happened to that? Did the agency ever move? Those kind of ideas. Noemi has been updating the air table. I think we're up to 2019. No, 2021. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm on the wrong air table right now. I think we're through 2019 at this point. So if you'll be able to search for anything through that point. If there's anything prior to that period, then you can lean on the office to ask about it. They could do a quick search until it gets there. Yeah, we're through 2019. All right, our party is on Thursday. Did everybody get their invites? Okay. You didn't get your invite, Tanisha?
I probably did, but ain't see it, but it's okay. You just told me.
I probably did, like Tanisha, I probably did too. So, but I've been duly informed and I will be there.
Okay. We are Guadalupe on Thursday on 207. We gotta show Inwood more love since our meetings are always on 166. In terms of the menu options, it's yeah, at the end, it was a whole back and forth trying to find a venue. This year's been harder than most. But they're pretty flexible in terms of picking entrees, so people with dietary restrictions will have good options. And yeah, we will be there. Hector's planning some fun little games. The invite says ugly sweater. Bring your ugliest sweater. Tanisha was like, I don't own one. Ellie has his hand up.
Yeah, I want Tanisha to bring her DJ. Otherwise, you can forget about it.
Yo, DJ?
Yeah, Tanisha, bring your own DJ.
Hey, listen, where is that? Can I get the address? Because you know I gotta put it in my schedule. Because if it ain't in my schedule, it doesn't happen.
I hear that.
You put it in the chat, Chair, if you can.
I'll put it.
Yeah, I'm gonna be there real late, so I hope you save some dessert for me or something. So I have a previous event where they want me also.
Yeah, it's a tough week. Yeah, it is this week. Of a lot of, end of year festivities that groups have, but we'll be a good crowd. It'll be more of like a sit down dinner, so it's a full meal, which we all enjoy. And some games are being plotted on, so I think it'll be a nice time. Oh no, the other item I had was for new business, so I will leave it there. Oh yeah, so Daryl has new business. Is there any old business first? Sorry.
I have one quick item.
Yeah.
So the last 2 months, Porfirio has been mentioning trainings that we have to do as members. And he noted that if you do it on YouTube, you have to do some attestation. I don't know where that is. I looked on the website, I wasn't immediately finding it, but just so none of us are delinquent in our trainings, there are 3 of them. How do we go about attesting that we watched the YouTube videos?
Right, I need that information as well, and also, he very quickly listed the 3 videos, which I didn't remember, so that list would be helpful also. But
Same.
Anthony makes an excellent point.
Yeah,
Same.
it's implicit bias, EEOC. And conflicts of interest are the
Yeah,
3
yes,
trainings we have to do.
I did one,
Yeah, I did one
and I couldn't
too.
do the other 2,
Yeah,
so I don't know.
yeah, maybe we need to put together like a quick summary to send out to the board members in the new year.
Yeah, and they need to send that. Okay,
I don't know.
thank
how to,
you for that.
you know,
Flyer.
do the other
Let me
2 that I
check.
missed, because.
Yeah, me too. I didn't do 2 of them either, because I
Yeah.
don't know why.
Al- Also, we should give them feedback for like hosting this. I know they only hosted 1 session. I was talking to another community board member, that they were just like, they just sent out dates. They sent it out like 2 weeks before. Some people didn't know in advance. People couldn't get on. So it would be nice if we can give them feedback to at least hold each session maybe twice or something like that on dates that work. 'Cause this year, it didn't, I don't know, I felt like it wasn't super smooth.
Okay.
Did you find the answers?
No, I don't see it. I'm like looking at also like, is the right one? Are there older ones?
Well, because there's a bunch of trainings, but those are the 3 that we have. to
So
do.
the 3 are bias, EEOC, and conflict of interest.
Yes,
Right,
They
right.
should have a.
Very good.
Surprise, anti-sexual.
I keep on forgetting to do it.
Anti-sexual harassment.
that's not one. They may do.
Or maybe did they
that.
join it?
Did they have?
I wonder, cause their I wonder if the EEO is broader and like it's mixed in.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, it
Could be.
is. You're right.
It should
Yeah.
be. All right, so obviously your new business.
Oh, yeah, it's not so much new business. I guess it's a point of personal privilege. And just saying, I guess now we're in December, right? Will be my last executive committee meeting. So I will not be running for reelection. So thank you, Carmen. Are you still on? Okay.
I'm definitely on. I was about to be like, you never responded to my text message, but okay. I was waiting
Well,
until
I-
after, no worry.
I'll just tell you with everybody else now. So,
Oh.
yeah, so thank you for a wonderful year of all the, so.
Thank you for hanging with
On the
us.
roll, and you did a great job.
Oh,
Yes,
thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
And looking forward to getting back in the committee work, which I haven't been like on a full-time committee now, for a while,
Yeah.
so.
What committees are you on?
To be determined,
Oh,
yes.
Which also, thank you, reminds me, I have to do changes on committees, right? So bylaws is ended. We had some folks step down. And I need to switch up. I want to be cognizant that I did add a lot of new blood, new members to committees just in September. So there've been quite a few changes. But some of these changes are really important. So like licensing, it's a boys club. We need to diversify our licensing committee ASAP. AKA I also need to find women who want to participate on licensing. So if, so I guess I'm saying this one, be on the lookout for me in the calls in the next week. I would like it to be really clean, like January, we start with new committee roster. I know that's like ambitious, but I don't really have a choice. So I might be reaching out to you in terms of like, hey, well, how does this roster look to you? I might be pulling off some folks who've been longstanding members on committees. Right now, like there's just certain priorities, like for example, the licensing one, like we got to bring in, we have to change that up in licensing. And so that might mean like we're moving around somebody who's been an active voice or been really present. But some of these changes I'm kind of picking up, and I know some of you have voiced that. So just FYI, I'm going to be playing with the roster. it's a song and dance, more than, I always say that, more than expected, because it's a telephone chain. Like, I want to change one thing, but then that means I need to call 4 other people to put one person on one committee. So it's a big chess game.
Chair, can I just make a quick comment? When you're done doing all of that, could we ask the office to update it on our website? Because it's not even updated with the most recent one. I know that we did some changes back in September. That's not updated on our website.
Yeah, I agree. I noticed that. So I'll say that. So I might be calling if I did get a couple people who are asking to be like moved around or have interest. So same thing for you guys. If you have any kind of like needs on your committee, please let me know that so I can try to and consider it all.
Have you received applications for public members?
Thank you. That too. Sorry. That one too is complicated because public members can't be more than 2/3, and public members have to be have to follow the same attendance rules as us. So ideally they need to participate in person or, you know, have an exemption for Zoom. I want to say right now I'm sitting on 4.
Okay.
And I think most of them are for committees where I don't see how I can fit them on. So I'm trying to figure that out. But we're supposed to do every year, which is actually really, it's not in our bylaws, so it's more of a procedural thing that's challenging. We gotta find a better time of year. So it's like every year they're supposed to be renewed. So in December, they're supposed to like reapply. Last year I had everybody reapply because those applications were non-existent at that point. And some people have fallen off. So like, you know, if I think you have one person who hasn't shown.
Oh, no, the public members?
Yeah.
No, she fell away. She
Okay.
disappeared.
Okay, so I'll take her off.
Yeah.
But they're part of the roster and your quorum, so if
you.
you don't have or would like a public member, that's something I'm trying to consider, like land use, I think I have 2, Wayne, so.
But.
We have to talk.
Yeah.
Are we enforcing the in person for them?
They have to have an exemption otherwise. If they sign that exemption attestation, then they count towards quorum. Otherwise,
I'm gonna have to talk to the 2 of them.
yes.
Yeah. I mean, I think realistically, like,
They're full, you know, they're on Zoom.
yeah, we're not holding. I think it becomes an issue when it's an issue. So for example, I think I could share it because she used to say it. Luana had an issue of a public member not attending and that affected her quorum and her voting. So it's kind of like it becomes an
Right,
issue
I
when
mean,
it
there have
becomes an
been
issue.
times when I've talked to them, you know, and had them come because we had, you know, I mean, how often do we have
Yeah.
residents,
Yeah.
you know, but when those times come around, then, you know, I do call them and let them know that we really need them to be in person,
Right.
but
But I can move members around when I have interest on public members, but that also takes time. I don't know if I can do that for January. I might like just move our board members in January and then I haven't spoken to people who submitted applications this fall to join. So I gotta talk to them and like interview them and, you know, see what works. But yeah, public
other
members,
thing
that's a big
is-
open item.
Yeah.
so things.
as far as renewing the paper that says you can be on Zoom,
It's the
Oh.
exemption.
the
There's no
exemption.
renewal for that.
Huh?
There's no renewal. So like,
do it
once you submit it and your
But it
exemption
asks for a
stands.
date until,
You can write NA,
I didn't do that.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry.
should I submit another one?
yes, and write NA on it.
Okay.
Speaking of, one of the things that we mentioned last
I'll
time,
bring it forward.
but I gotta work with Paola and Ebenezer to fix it, is adding like a members hub on our website. So we did that, like tested it, but it's just not live yet. So that way the attendance, the disability exemption, we put the Q&A for can I vote while not on Zoom? You know, like those kind of questions. So that way it's like a members corner of the website.
Oh,
Because we spoke about that last time. It's just, I don't know why it's glitching right now,
but
but
it's still.
Yeah,
public.
because see, I didn't
Yes,
even,
right,
I
yeah.
didn't.
yeah,
even
it'll be
know-
public. So it's
Yeah.
all our public documents, not anything
Yeah.
I
private.
didn't even know that one of my members had an exemption.
Yeah.
I
Okay,
had no idea.
Oh, yeah,
that's a committee.
the chair should know.
Yeah.
I ought to know that.
Yeah. The chair should know.
It helps. You
Tanisha?
know?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that the virtual meetings have opened up the world for people with disabilities. I am one of those people that are disabled. You might not see my disability, it's none of your business, but I am. And a lot of times we can't see people's disabilities. So I think we should really think about that when it comes to virtual and in person. And this is something that I plan on taking up with Carmen and the borough president too, because a lot of times when you say in person, you're leaving out a group of people for whatever reason that could participate online, and that is not okay. We are not in the old world. We are in a new world, and virtual platforms, digital meetings are a part of that new world. I suggest we adapt. Thank you.
Agree. And I wish we could change open meeting law, but you're right, like, if we have folks who are applying for public members, is being able to lay that out, right? So like if you exempt, you join on Zoom. If you don't, we talk about like, can you join in person or not?
I
So
mean,
I
I
want to
honestly
be
know
clear.
that neither one of my public members have an exemption.
Right, so, but part of it is like, can you commit, period, you know, so some public members haven't shown up at all. And that's taking maybe a spot from a member who a full board member who wants to be on that committee. So, you know, just, it's good to do that temperature check on the public members. Because they serve at will of the board and of the committee, and really they're meant to bring in, you know, either an expertise or a unique insight to that committee. So it's like, if we got that, then we're okay. But
Yeah.
Jim, and I want to move on because I know we opened up.
Thank you. Tanisha, I think things are actually much better than you believe they are, because they changed the open meetings law. So if you have a disability, as you have, you count as the quorum, and you can be as virtual as you want. And that would be true of public members of committees too. And as you pointed out, because of privacy concerns, people certify themselves. And, you know, and you're also absolutely correct that what your disability might or might not be is none of our business unless you choose to tell us about it. But I think actually some of the things you were talking about are already in place. So I think that will make you much more comfortable, because I think we're doing practically everything you ask. But you
We're
can
gonna put it
double
on.
check nicely.
Carmen?
I just wanted to quickly add to what Jim was saying. I was going to say that I don't know that it's really an issue of people not being able to attend in person. I just think that people don't fill out the exemptions. So maybe it's just like people should fill that out and be reminded to, because technically you could appear and it'd be counted as quorum as long as you have filled out the form. So I feel like it lacks on the person. They're not doing the paperwork necessary, and it just doesn't make it clear. It's not clear to the office whether they, you know, are marked present or not. It's just very chaotic. So people should be filling out their forms. And on that same note, I think the office should just send out a reminder just for year end and just say, there's a reminder
Yeah.
for those of you the year, as we start the new year, please submit your forms, show them exactly what they have to do, put the link, and just include that. So in the new year, as we're starting things afresh and doing attendance, people are submitting the stuff. Because I think that's just the issue. It's not that they can't do it, but they can attend. They're very much welcome to. Just that nobody's filling out the forms. And then they're like, oh, I can't make it.
That's a good
Of
point.
course, on the other hand, we
Filled out my form, Carmen.
Hold on, Anthony has something to say on the item, Jim, before you go.
And just a quick flag for if they're gonna send a reminder or for the hub, that for those with permanent disabilities to write NA in the date
Yeah.
field, so this way they don't get caught off guard. Why is there a date field? That's just meant for folks that circumstances are temporary. For those with permanent, obviously there's no date of ending, so just to write NA on that part of it.
My only comment was, and this is obvious, that, you know, because of the laws we have, this is all in good faith and, you know, obviously one could certify that they have a disability when they don't, but we're presuming they're honest and, you know, upstanding folks, and they won't do that.
For new business, I just want to acknowledge because it's on our table, we have a personnel item before us. We got a letter from one of our staff in asking.
Before you continue, should we stop the YouTube? Like, is this something?
No, we're not gonna
I
talk
don't
about it.
think
I'm just
so, yeah.
acknowledging it as new, that we have it as
Okay.
the new business, and that next month, when we have more information, we would have an exec session to talk about it. I just want to acknowledge it because it's like we have it on print in our table here, and you guys are on Zoom. So this is talking about the comp time. Well, what the office has is a comp time policy, but being able to discuss compensation for overtime or adjusting salaries to I guess account for the hours, the additional hours that staff work covering our meetings. Yeah, so we have a letter before us. Next month we'll talk about it and I'll add it to the agenda, and also so we can have more information.
You know, let me just comment on that. If we're talking about changing a policy, you know, and we don't, now there may be stuff in this letter that is why we want to change the policy, but, you know, if we're just changing the policy and the policy will apply to all of the employees, then it probably doesn't have to be done in executive session. But that's something we can, you know, sort out the details of.
Mm-hmm. Can I say something also, Kathy? I think it's important to mention that if we're talking about personnel issues, it needs to be disclosed, in my opinion, whether or not they belong to a union, because then if we're talking about adjusting salaries, then we also have to acknowledge that there are collective bargaining stipulations that tie into the overtime, comp time, whatever those may be.
Yeah, there's that city stuff. I'm just saying it. This is the first time I've learned of this ask. There are other asks regarding personnel that I wanted to bring to January, like staff evaluation. We're responsible, or I'm responsible for the DM's evaluation. What in prior years and what we've done last time was get committee chair feedback, because y'all are the ones that have increased touch points with our DM, so that it'll be on the agenda next month. Ellie, and then I think we could do a motion.
Yeah, I think.
Oh, yeah, we never called it order.
As Luana just mentioned, is critical. I don't want to say critical, it's important rather to look at the union that they belong, District 37 or say whatever union that is, and see what the collective bargain agreement is. And based upon that, then we can start a conversation as to how to navigate through that complex system of, you know, how you rate them, how you increases and the percentages and so forth. So I would first ask them which union they belong to get a copy of the bargaining agreement.
Carmen, Tanisha.
I just wanted to clarify, did you want to talk about the election timing tomorrow now, or how is that gonna work? Did you all already decide the agenda? Is it finalized when it will be? We will need.
Hold on, let me see if I got a response back. While we do the
braces now, so.
but we still have to. Tanisha, you got something? Sorry, let me just look up what Carmen's asking for.
Yeah, I just have an announcement because I don't think I told all y'all, so it's kind of new business. So you will have a community board member who will be receiving the President's Volunteer Service Award, and that board member would be me. I am getting the award from Biden, and it will be at the Schomburg on the 22nd. It's never been done in Harlem before. It's being done early because that man is going into office on my birthday next year, and I refuse to take anything from him. So we have invited the chair board, the board chair, so hopefully she will be there, and you know, feel free to flex. Good job, y'all.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Tanisha. We both have the same birthday, by the way. January 20th.
Wow.
Oh, you're a
And it's
special
almost
person. Are you
Capricorn
left-handed too?
season. It's almost Capricorn season.
That's right.
Good go.
Pluto has left Capricorn and may the good luck and good blessings flow.
Okay, so we have, no, I think let's keep it how we do it. We have one reso licensing. Let me send it to you. Actually, did you see it, Carmen?
What?
I'm gonna text you, sorry, the agenda. Let me know if that timing works for you.
Okay.
And the committee, if not, let's put our brains together and move things around. We can always amend at the beginning of the meeting also.
Okay, I just got it. So it would be licensing. I don't even see it. It's currently under.
But since we never called this meeting to order, so there's no need to motion. We
Have an
can
unofficial motion?
Yeah.
We have.
Unofficial motion to end tonight.
Second.
We're back at it tomorrow.
Bye.
All right. Good night, everyone. See you all tomorrow. Stay warm. Carmen, just text us.
Tomorrow.
What do you want me? You want me to stay on? What?
No, just call me. Sorry.
Okay, just
On the
call me.
phone.
Oh.